Have you ever wondered why British vehicles are always so impressive? I mean, if you really consider British vehicles, classic Land Rovers, classic Range Rovers, classic Aston Martins, and even the modern day, I'm talking truly British vehicles, which unfortunately is not a Defender or a Range Rover any longer, but let's say an Aston Martin, a Bentley, a Rolls-Royce, since they still have that British heritage, that they all have something in common, and that's restraint. They take the simple, the unpretentious designs, and they make something that's purely timeless. And today we're going to talk about a new Helderburg named Hawthorne, and I think the British design, just the British vibe and the restraint is completely obvious. Hi, I'm Paul and this is Lucy, and today we're talking about Hawthorne. And where I started out, and I was talking about British design, but also British fashion and British personality. All of it, if you think about it, it's focused on restraint. Not overdoing things, not being loud, not being obnoxious, just refined, luxurious, and I think that's probably why I'm drawn to English clothing, English fashion, England, and the vehicles, and I mean the list can just go on. So I don't want to ramble, but I think it's just, when I think British, I just think that is sophistication, and that's the life of being a gentleman. And looking at Hawthorne today, I think it's pretty apparent that this is a very British design. From the popular green, and I mean there's a lot of things that you can think about that's British. In fact, they even have their own color called British Racing Green, which this is not. This is a custom green mix that we did in our factory. And I just think everything about it feels British. I mean, could you see yourself driving Hawthorne in the Scottish Highlands and exploring? And let's just say you're doing a photography trip. Could you see yourself doing this with your dog and maybe your significant other, and just enjoying life and stopping by really stopping in the mountains and sipping tea? I can definitely see all of that. So let's talk about the design a little bit. The first thing, it is a two-door 110. So this is the same size as a 110 that has 4 doors. But the 110 two-door gives you some benefits that the 4-door does not, in my opinion. If you really enjoy the outdoors and, let's just say it's fly fishing or golfing or surfing or any outdoor activity, I think this is the perfect body style, for the simple fact that you have a tremendous amount of cargo room in the back. And then if you enjoy entertaining, and a lot of times when you're going somewhere you have a lot of people in your vehicle, then I think this is the perfect body style for that also, for the simple fact that you don't have the second row. And if you have not owned a classic Defender, a Helderburg, then you don't realize what I'm getting ready to say. And that's the nostalgia of the center-facing benches. When I have guests that visit, they always want me to drive, and they want to sit in the center-facing bench seats of the 4-door 110 that I have. They do not want to be in the second row because it's the nostalgia. It makes you feel young again is really what it is. So whether it's adults or children, they want to be in the center-facing benches. And if you have the 4-door 110, then you're talking to them through the second row seats, unless you have a lot of people. But then if you have a lot of people, the individuals in the second row seat are blocking the view for you to be able to see the individuals in the cargo area. So it really is a multi-purpose vehicle and in the body design. And I'm not discounting the 4-door 110 because that's absolutely classic you know, Defender. It's what it says. Oh, that's a classic Defender. But these, you simply don't see these in the United States, talking about a two-door 110. They're pretty rare. And in fact, you don't see a lot of them in Europe either, because a lot of these were used as serious work vehicles. So they went through a lot of use and abuse, and simply they just didn't take care of them. So finding them is quite difficult. Let's put it that way. So two-door 110, and I've said it many times, I'm going to say it again, and you know what I'm getting ready to say if you've watched a number of my videos. You simply have to see a Helderburg in person. The pictures and videos do not do it justice. The perfection of the lines, they are simply cannot be done any better than they are. Let's put it that way, because it is perfect. The way the paint is done, every individual body panel has been removed and it's painted. And it's painted on the back side, it's painted on the front side, it's epoxied, and then the truck is assembled. So this is purely hand-built British from the ground up. I mean, everywhere, everything from the engine up is all hand-built, all completely redone. And there's the one thing that I have people that will say, well, I love the design, I love the stance of a Helderburg, I love the uniqueness that you could remove the badges and I know it's a Helderburg just by seeing the picture automatically, that it's unmistakable Helderburg. But tell me a little more. What can you tell me about Helderburg? Because I can see the attention to detail and the quality. And there's this one thing that I think is important that you understand, but what Helderburg is it's a lot of custom-made parts. I mean, the parts are numerous that we custom make. A Helderburg is not parts off of the shelf. They're not a British parts, meaning Land Rover parts that you buy off the shelf, because unfortunately, Land Rover has subcontracted the parts, and the parts are being made all over the world, and the quality just simply doesn't reach our standards. Therefore, we had to start building a lot of our own parts. We also had to start, and even there's a lot of parts that Land Rover doesn't even supply any longer. So that starts to create an aftermarket, meaning that there's companies that are creating aftermarket parts and their standards are just simply not up to par. They just don't meet what we expect to be on a Helderburg. Therefore, we have to manufacture, we have to create, we have to build, and we have to craft a lot of our own parts to be able to build a Helderburg and be able to offer this attention to detail, this quality of what's going on. So I think we should really look at the interior, because you can see the outside. You can see that this is a serious beach runner. That's exactly what we designed it for, to be in the Hamptons and be up and down the beaches and be in the sand. And the suspension was designed as such for you to be able to drive across the washboard sand and it just stays as smooth as you can believe. And then, of course, the power plant on it is the type of power plant that is really designed for sand, mud, snow, anywhere where you need a tremendous amount of torque and you want to limit the possibility of spinning the tires and slipping off the road. So this is a torque, in the engine, the powertrain, the transmission, the transfer case is all designed around to be torquey. And the torque is what you feel when you pull away from a red light and it puts you back in the seat. So that's the design of the power plant, but the interior is where you're going to spend the majority of your time. So let's take a look at the interior and let's talk about what we've done, because we've created an interior that it's only going to get better at time as the patina starts to take over a little bit. But when I say patina, I'm not talking about cracking of leather or anything. But let's take a look at it. So now that we're in the interior of Hawthorne, the British feel continues. I mean, this cannot be any more British than it already is. With the tan leather, I mean, the color of this tan is spectacular. And then the green piping, which complements the exterior. And then, of course, the green carpet. And the carpet, of course, has the tan leather that's piping around the carpet. And tremendously plush carpet. I mean, the carpet is amazing. So it feels very British, but let's talk about the build process of a Helderburg. And I've talked about that before, that every build takes over 3,000 hours. And it's for the simple reason is everything is hand built. The steering wheel, in fact, is even done by hand. This is not a mass-produced steering wheel that comes from some third world country. This is a steering wheel that's being crafted. A craftsman is actually doing it. An individual that's been building these steering wheels for years is hand carving the wood. I mean, they're using some power tools, don't get me wrong, but the aluminum is also hand polished. It's not running down an assembly line. It's all done by hand. And if the steering wheel is going through that level of design, you can only imagine everything else that's happening. Even the shift knobs here, the shift knobs that have leather on them, these are hand stitched. An individual is sitting there with the knob and they're using a needle and thread. There's no other way to do it other than a needle and thread and by hand. That is not mass produced. And this is the type of things that we do to make a Helderburg. We don't cut any corners because why would you? I mean, that takes the fun out of it. And our goal is not to be the biggest and sell the most. That's not how we set out to do. Our goal has always been to build the absolute best and always be refining and improving the process, improving the cabin, because there's a lot of things that go into a classic Defender. A classic Defender is unlike any other vintage vehicle. It takes more time to assemble and it takes a lot more parts to assemble, because if you start to look around a classic Defender versus, let's say, a classic Bronco or something like that, there's many more parts. A classic Defender is basically like a Lego set, and there's well over 7,000 parts that are having to be touched by hand to be able to bring it to total perfection. So you just imagine that if you have over 7,000 parts, each one's being touched by hand, and you start to do the math, now you can understand why does it take so long. And this is the type of thing too. You simply don't want to rush it. Why would you rush it? I mean, rushing only takes away from it. And I've had many a client say that that's what they really enjoy is with the commission process, that seeing their Helderburg come to life and seeing it take shape. And I mean, majority of the time, I don't show them what the donor vehicle, what the Defender originally looked like that we bought, that came from some winery, that we bought it in Italy or Poland or France or somewhere like that, because they've been really hard used work machines. And it simply doesn't matter because we are touching every single part and we're just bringing the purity back to it and then improving it from there. So let's talk about the interior. I mean, as I've said, it is British, but perforated leather here, the green piping, heated seats. And if you've watched my videos, you know the seats are built custom to the individual. So when we're commissioning, we get measurements, the seat, the center console, the steering wheel, everything is built to specific to the client for the size. So regardless, if someone is 6'4", 6'6", it doesn't make a difference because we're building it piece by piece and we're building it to fit them. On this one, it does have the half doors. So you have a nut here and a nut here. You pull those two nuts off and then this whole top section comes off, and then you have the half door with the pockets down here. It gives you that open door experience. The windows are really cool. These are definitely interesting where they slide back and forth, but again, you can remove the entire top part. And then the soft top you can roll up the windows on the side, roll up the window in the back, but it just makes for a very interesting, fun, enjoyable, memory-making drive. And that's what, you know, clients tell us all the time after they take delivery of their Helderburg, that they say, that's absolutely the best investment I've ever made. That this has been the first time in a really long time that my wife and I have taken a trip. We put our phones down, we had conversation, we talked, we laughed, we felt like we were dating again. And that's true, and I know that from fact, because that's what started the crazy passion for me, and that's how Helderburg was born, where Christy and I had a 4-door, technically 5-door 110 in white, and we hopped in it after we got it, and we did countless road trips and went to see the lighthouses. We took naps in it. It was enjoyable. And after I felt those emotions, that's how Helderburg really started to grow and be born. And I'm not talking about Helderburg as you know it now, but Helderburg was basically my passion, my hobby, and it was my alias for me to do social media and share my life with classic Land Rovers. So this is Hawthorne. It's completely British. It just has that British vibe. But the thing is, it won't insult you and you feel like that you've actually received a compliment. If you know British, you know exactly what I'm saying.